Saturday morning. I'm supposed to be working on a wooden boat, but of course I pulled myself off that project and started working on a buddy's Sanibel to get it ready for our trip to Rodanthe. We're going to sell Rodanthe and hopefully make it down to Ocracoke this time. We'll see. It's a little difficult to sail overnight with children, so but I wouldn't go without them. So this morning we're going to install a hatch in Swordfish, which is the boat we'll be taking. We took her down last November and had a great weekend, and some pretty rough weather down there at that time. And she did real well, so we're going to take her this year, spend 6 days down. So off to work. I got my sidekick here that keeps me out of trouble. Sidekick. Sidekick. Can you quit scratching? Can you quit scratching? Yep. Wiggin of the Sea this weekend. Was Wiggin of the Roanoke on our last trip. So back to Wiggin of the Sea. So it's a beautiful morning. Got some of the boats out working on them. And sitting here enjoying a cup of coffee. Procrastinating, I believe, would be the way to describe this morning. Get in that boat before it gets too hot. So I want to install an inspection port in the bow here. It's sealed to the bow hook or loop or whatever you choose to call it. So the original thought was to place it here. I'm thinking maybe now place it inside the floor of the shelf here. So I'll take some measurements and maybe drill a pilot hole or two and get an idea of what would be best. At this point, I don't have a clue. So the dilemma: mount it here, excuse me, or mount it in here. Now, the things I want to be concerned with is, notice a ridge here and here. Make sure that's not going to compromise the structural integrity of the front of this boat. So I'm leaning more towards here. I know this is a bulkhead, but this isn't going to affect the integrity much mounted vertically, like cutting into whatever this might be. So I think this is going to win. It's going to be a little tight, but it should mount flush. The lower the better in this instance. So, and then the question is, can I still get my fat arm all the way to the bow from here? That's a pretty good stretch. So we'll see. Still trying to think it through. But there's an idea of what I'm up against given the diameter of the inspection port. Well, I think it's plainly obvious which direction I went with this one. So, yeah, wow, wasted space. So I drilled a pilot hole, and yeah, I think I'll have plenty of room to put the hatch in. I'm not seeing or feeling, let's say feeling, any type of structure here. But I think with the diameter of the hatch, I can stay out of whatever these are. And again, they may be nothing. They may just be where they tabbed in the core to the hull of the boat, which would make it look like it's some type of reinforcement, and actually it's just extra fiberglass. So, we'll stick with it. See what happens. so I've drilled out all directions here, and I didn't hit anything. I can feel underneath the lip that it's still free of any obstructions or braces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of the circle out, then try and true it up a little bit so that the hatch will fit nice and snug. Okay. Now I can get into the bow bolts right there. Now they're not loose, but I want to be able to get into them. That's kind of insane not being able to reach them, so we're good. And not a lot of storage here, but some storage, and that I can't figure out. I don't know if that's ballast or what it is, but there's literally sand and gravel in the bottom of the boat. Now, I've had this boat all over the Sound and sailed it extensively, and I've never had any water in it, so I don't know where that came from. But I can tell you it's going to be removed. Okay, I want this as tight as I can get it so that it'll keep some structural integrity to whatever the plan was here. So I think we're good. Covered up any tear out we had in the fiberglass. There's no sense to butyl tape it because it better not get wet. If this is wet, we're probably going to Davy Jones's locker. So I think we're good. And what I'm doing now is making sure that that's not, which it seems like it is, a little distorted. That's why it's not wanting to thread properly. So, all right, we'll pull it out and trim it a little more. Still looks like it's right there. Which I can see it's not very circular here. Okay, let's see if it's distorted now. Nope. Good deal. So we'll go ahead and leave that in. Then we'll take the stainless screws that came with it and put them in. But we want to leave this in just in case. We don't want to screw it down out of round, if that makes sense. Then the lid won't fit. We get to clean the mess out inside it afterwards. All right, time to get a screwdriver. I might go back at a later date and replace these screws with through bolts. But that tightened up pretty good. The core was nice and dry. Of course, I would hope it would be inside the boat, but you never know. So we'll tighten these down. and clean out the sand and gravel that's inside the bottom of the boat. I don't remember when I researched this boat seeing sand and gravel for a ballast on saildata.com, but hey, you never know. But we're going to remove it. I looked at the bottom of the hull, well, when I bought the boat, and just now, just to make sure I didn't miss anything, went over the entire, it's never been fixed. And if it has been fixed, meaning the hull's been cracked and it's allowed sand and gravel intrusion, if it has been fixed, they're beyond professional good, because I can't see any fiberglass lines or any paint work whatsoever, so we'll see. All right, I won't bore you with screw inserting here, so let's speed it up. And we're done. So now it's time to clean up and clean out. So pretty clean install. It's some fiberglass chip out, but it's all been covered underneath the lip of the inspection port there. So I can get to the bow hook, bow loop, whatever you want to call it, in the front of the boat. And I can get down here for storage. So may even put a anchor locker there with another inspection port above it later on. We'll just see how that develops. Okay, time to clean up now. And again, if anybody knows if this is factory ballast, make sure to mention it in the comments section, because that would be kind of cool. Maybe. Be like buying a shaker toy with your boat. So, I've never seen anybody do it, but that doesn't mean somebody hasn't, or somebody hasn't. So, but I don't like anything that's permanently wet, even against my fiberglass. So I have no problems removing it. We can come up with other ways for ballast. I can put lead in it if I have to, but I can't see, like I said, I can't see this being true ballast. But you never know. Manufacturers do some crazy things. All in the name of good engineering, right? Okay, let's get the vacuum in here and suck it out. All clean. I picked up a lot more sand and gravel with the vacuum too. So, time will tell, right? Well, that concludes our swordfish inspection port installation project. Let's move to something else.